First of all, Code Launch 8 is presented by UNT at Frisco. Great sponsors.
Really good.
Hugely critical for this event happening this year.
They stepped up big.
Stood by us during a very panicky time that will probably never be presented in such a challenging way again. We all hope. And so we really appreciate UNT at Frisco. This is their third year to sponsor Code Launch here in North Texas.
It's awesome.
Huge announcement.
What?
We have changed the date.
Oh, no.
We have gone to Plan B.
Let's see.
Plan B was always kind of known. We needed to have a backup date in case September 10th was not the best time to try to get everybody in a room together. Mm-hmm. And it's clear to me that we are heading that direction, but we're not there yet. And I think if we had it September 10th, we'd have about 50 diehard people there.
Yep.
And I know those 50 people. They're awesome people. But we want 300 bare minimum, maybe 500.
Yep.
We can't have more than 500, but 300 to 500 would be perfect.
Yep.
50 would kind of suck. So
we only want the best people. It's 500 of the best people.
Yeah.
If you're not the best, you're not invited.
Right. And so
I'll be at the door making that judgment call. So if your significant other just can't, come alone, come stag.
That is what we're going to do. And now I want you to know that this date is not changing. And I don't care how bad it looks on November 4th.
Yep.
We're having the event November 5th right outside that window at the Comerica Center.
It might be in a parking lot.
It'll happen.
It's going to happen, though.
It will happen, and unless a court order comes over and makes me stop in the middle of it, I will just keep going. And we're going to have a startup event.
Drive-in movie theater, maybe?
Because we have some startups that need our services and need our acceleration, and they need Afterburner.
Yep.
And we got to get this done.
November 5th.
And then we got to plan a Q1 event, Q1 Code Launch in a different city.
Isn't that like it's Remember the 5th of November? Is that the English poem?
It is now. Go ahead. Why don't you recite that for us?
That was all I had, and I wasn't
Remember
the
5th of November.
Do you know it?
No.
I'm going to Google it.
Next, we do plan on implementing a lot of COVID-19 mitigation and safety measures. We've talked about these. They've been on our social media. There's ones we've been thinking of that aren't even on this handy little infographic yet. But we're going to make sure it is a safe event for you to come to. It may require the teensiest bit of bravery on your part to get out there and go to a social event here in North Texas.
We're going to make this safe.
It's going to happen.
It's going to be safe as can be.
Now, we shouldn't start this process before we thank the semifinalists.
Great group.
We had 22 this year. We actually invited 25, and 3 opted out at the last second.
Yeah.
Those 22 came from 3 different continents, and we saw and met with them virtually or in person for their semifinalist pitch, all of them over 9 business days. So
best crop ever?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
I think so.
And so now let's go to the next one. Now, what happens to the Code Launch semifinalists? And I want to kind of try to peel back the curtains for those of you who maybe are not one of the groups watching right now to find out if you've made it, but you're just curious about Code Launch. Well, at the stage that we invite groups to be a semifinalist, we know certain things about them. We know that they've hustled a little bit on the homework that we've given them. We know that they have interesting ideas, but we want to meet the people and the founders and try to get a feel for who they are a little bit more. We want to listen to their pitch, like in a timed, but in a way we don't impact it at all. We just listen.
Mm-hmm.
And then we want to do a lot of Q&A, and that can be technical Q&A. It could be business idea Q&A. It's definitely a lot of execution Q&A.
Yeah.
And that helps us try to kind of figure out who the groups are, who their teams are, and a lot about them. So,
and if you've made it this far, you can execute. That's you can.
So there's reason to believe anybody that got this far is going to go farther.
Yep.
And the semifinalists get that access to us in a private 1-hour meeting when they deliver their pitch.
Mm-hmm.
So from that, we have to go, into a subsequent process. This year, we are involving our hackathon brands that are volunteering hackathon teams.
That's awesome.
And like UNT improving and Hack DFW, which we're going to talk about in a minute. And then we have to make selection. And what are they going to get? Well, the ones that we're going to announce as finalists today, we're going to pair them with a team to develop and work on their product for 3 days in a format that is controlled, so everybody competes the equal amount of effort to try to write code as fast as they can for their startup. And also, when they walk out of that hackathon process, they get every single bit of source code. They haven't given up any intellectual property. They haven't given up any equity. They haven't done anything at all, unless or had any expense at all, unless they've traveled here.
Yep.
In which a handful or most of these groups are going to be traveling here for the event that we're going to announce today. So, except for maybe one that we're not 100% sure about. So, that's what I wanted you to know that. Plus, they're going to get a lot of services from other sponsors that aren't just providing the hackathons.
Yep.
So, let's talk about some of those. Well, first, there's UNT at Frisco. They're providing financial support for the event, plus some services to the groups that aren't going to get picked today, which I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to email about later. And also a hackathon team and all the other support you could ever want. Code Authority, that's the company I started 20 years ago.
Sounds cool.
Kind of cool company.
How many years
They
ago?
provide us a nice studio, 20, almost 20 in January.
And you're only 25? This first couple of years we're learning curve. Feel bad for those year one clients.
And anyway, yes, our team here will be providing a hackathon team, just like as we always have since the year 2013 when we started it.
Yep.
Improving, my great partners who I joined forces with last October. The Dallas office is providing a team, and they love to do that. This will be their 3rd year. They got behind this before we joined forces and liked it so much they came back a year later, and then they liked that so much that we formed a joint venture.
You know what I love about
together.
Improving?
Everything.
They're always getting better.
They are always getting better.
You can even say they're always
improving. It's what we do.
Improving.
iTexico. iTexico is the newest member of the Improving family, and when they found out about what CodeLaunch is and what it means to the North Texas entrepreneurial ecosystem, they said, we want to give a hackathon team. So they're in too. They're based out of Austin, and we're really excited about that.
Harder to do a pun with that name.
There's a bunch you could probably do, but
yeah.
I'm going to leave that up to you. Now, this is some news I need to share with everybody. Last week, a brand new company joined with the Improving family of technology consulting group nationwide and in North America, and they're called Object Partners. They're based out of Minneapolis, and they also have a large presence in Omaha, Nebraska.
That's awesome.
And a little too early to get them involved just yet with CodeLaunch this year, but Minneapolis seems like a great Q3 destination.
Oh, the weather would be amazing.
Weather-wise for CodeLaunch next year.
Yeah.
So Object Partners adds several hundred new people to our organization, and really excited about this news. You can check out the full story at the improving.com site. Click the thoughts page, and you can read the story of the acquisition and its founder, Chris.
That is amazing.
Great group. Welcome, Object Partners. Christensen Law Group. This is a law firm locally here that believes in startups. Believes in it so much they're putting down $15,000 worth of services.
Boom!
Between the finalists and the winner, who gets a little extra more.
Yep.
So thank you, Scott Christensen, for being a great legal partner for CodeLaunch.
Having a lawyer around is great.
Hmm?
Having legal services, having that around, that's awesome. That's like such a luxury. A lot of early stage bootstrap startups, they feel like they can't afford it. So that's a big thing.
No doubt. I mean, and a lot of people just have questions like, which entity should I be formed under if I want to be acquired someday?
Let's deal with Delaware anyway. Why does it come up? It feels like it comes up more than it should. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer.
Should I patent my software? Right.
Yeah.
These are all really good questions that I'm not qualified to answer.
Yep.
And I think legally I'm not even supposed to try to answer.
But we have the Christensen Law Group.
Okay,
That's awesome.
so Christensen Law Group, thank you very. No, this is not Christensen. That was the last one. This is CLA Connect. This is a financial services firm.
Yep.
Sorry, the C and the L is a little confusing. CLA Connect is going to be providing a preparing for funding workshop during the hackathon week
That's awesome.
to the finalists. And then Social Media Torch, back for a second year, lighting a torch under your social media,
Is that the Statue of Liberty?
watching it burn across the sky.
Is that the Statue of Liberty? I don't know.
Yeah, it's
she's got like a
left.
book. She has a book and a.
And she got her right
Yeah.
hand on the torch.
Yeah.
So Social Media Torch, Nick Gartside, he was last year's MC.
Yep.
He's going to be back and supporting our finalists with a campaign that helps elevate their energy and their PR after they've become a CodeLaunch finalist. And I cannot do this without mentioning the great support of the city of Frisco. So we've had the support of the Economic Development Corp here. They are very supportive of the idea of a major North American accelerator being born, grown, and existing here in Frisco. And I thank you to them, and especially Stephanie Wagner. Now, let's talk about this guy.
Handsome devil.
Look how fit he is. Did you take that picture just for this? Or do you take pictures like that all the time?
I took that for a TV show I was on in LA last year. It's a green screen photo. Yeah.
Okay, well, why don't you talk about the 1 month competition that is Afterburner, and when does it start, and who it's for?
All right, well, it is for a group that we're going to send some invites to. Basically, here's our belief. We believe that if you've gotten this far, everyone's already a winner. But we know that that's also, some stuff that you hear with participation trophies and stuff. We don't want to give that out. We want every single company that has the desire and work ethic to get better. And so what we're doing is we're creating the Afterburner program. Just like we've done with the homework, we're going to dial it up like 10 notches, okay? And the goals are going to be, how do we get customers? How do we get revenue? If a company is not in the hackathon final, but they still get a chance to be an Afterburner, I'm going to help you figure out what it is you can do with the resources you have to get to the MVP stage. Now, that's not a guarantee. This is not a professional services company coming in, but we're going to set the goal really high. We're going to say, okay, we didn't win the traditional route. How do we go to plan B, plan C, plan D? And we're going to get as many things done as humanly possible to accelerate and build very real momentum. And I have a personal goal of, I want to see a lot of these companies coming out with revenue, with established business models. I want to see several of them to be on their way to raising money. And I want to see pretty much all of them just feel like, man, I've really got a grip on how to get this launched. So that's what we're doing with Afterburner.
So Stram is going to be sending out Afterburner invites later today.
Yep.
All of the finalists are automatically eligible for Afterburner. But the semifinalists today that don't make it, he's going to invite selected ones that he feels like are good candidates.
Yep.
And the winner of Afterburner could be any of those groups,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
It could be somebody who's a semifinalist who we don't invite as a finalist.
Yep.
And that group could out-execute the rest, including the winner, and win Afterburner.
And I'll tell you this, because I work with some local accelerators and some local investors and stuff. If you are still putting in the work and you're doing this, like, no one's going to go to bat for you more than us. And also you're going to have this evidence of who you are as a founder. It's so much more than a pitch deck. It's, hey, 3 months ago we did this. 2 months ago we got this many users. 1 month ago we made these changes based on A/B testing. This is our growth week over week, right? And when you have all that, the pitch with the investors really just comes down to fit, and like if you get along. And sometimes you don't even need investors because you focused on real numbers and you got so many users and so many customers that the business just handles itself. There's at least one company that I'm thinking of right now. I can't name them, but they are sitting on a very real business, and I want to help them realize that during Afterburner. So I'm excited to be able to get the results from that.
And the reason that Josh is running the Afterburner is because it was actually his idea. He brought this idea into CodeLaunch, and I said, this is a great idea. Let's do it. And he also said, they call me the guillotine. And I said, why do they call you the guillotine? He said, because I'm always executing.
No,
and I said,
it's because all I do is execution.
Okay, well, I like because I'm always executing. And so that's what he is. He's the guillotine, and he's the CodeLaunch evangelist, and he's in charge of Afterburner.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now,
Thank you,
without
Jason.
further ado, the 2020 CodeLaunch 8 finalists. Today, we have a special announcement to make.
Boom, boom.
We have secured a very generous sponsoring gift from a group called Hack DFW
Shout out to Adam Kila.
that does a lot of hackathons, and they have agreed to provide us 3 additional hackathon teams that we did not know we were going to have
We were in the chopping block.
until Friday.
Yeah, we were in the chopping block. We were trying to figure
Cheers to
out.
you for connecting the dots on that one.
Thank you. I will take credit and responsibility for it. But we were looking at the chopping block, and we just kept getting back to we have too many good companies, and we have not enough sponsors. So I was able to call Adam, and he's got a big network of really talented developers, and we are putting together those teams on the fly so that we can get more services to startups that deserve it. Because you guys killed it this year as a group, and again, I know I'm saying it again, but like. If we had 22 dev teams, there'd be 22 projects going, but we had to cut it down. So thank you, Hack DFW, and thank you, Adam.
So last week, we thought there'd be 1 from each group. Now there's going to be 2 international announced today, 1 student founder, 1 human impact, and 3 U.S. commercials. That's a total of 7 finalists. And there will be 1 first alternate. That first alternate is going to be on hold until we find out if we're going to have another hackathon team.
And we're working hard to
I
get
can't
more.
be sure about that one, but we know who the party is. So we're going to announce them. So they're kind of like on the bubble, right?
Yeah.
All right, so now let's get into it. The first international finalist at CodeLaunch 8 will be
Christopher Talkin.
from Moscow, Russia.
Congratulations.
Dennis Dalsky. Congrats, Dennis. They were the team that invented the idea of outdoing my Stormtrooper helmet on a pitch.
And they made the really cool music video of me talking.
They did a music
Walking
video.
while I'm talking. Walking while I'm that's easier for you to edit now. I just gave you the
First ever international finalist from Russia. The second international finalist is Coconut Truck from the company Coconut Silo in Seoul, South Korea. Sung-Young Kim, congratulations, guys.
Really great team, really great work.
These guys have actually committed. They will be here in person for
That's
the
amazing.
event. So we're going to have a group from South Korea standing on the stage pitching at CodeLaunch 8.
Boom.
Awesome. Now, the student founder finalist, there's only 1 of these. I'm going to let you say the name on this one.
Rohit Shenoy, Durable Alpha. I love Rohit.
Yes, that's him. He was in our finals with 2 different groups, and both of them were amazing.
Yeah.
Congrats, Rohit. Looking forward to seeing you soon. Now, the Human Impact finalist. We should get a drum.
I mean, I'm
I'll
doing
teach you like a real drum.
I'm hitting my own thigh, man.
Avo MD.
Congratulations.
Yahir Saperstein from New York City. Really interesting medical concept that will change the way medicine is delivered in the practice in the
fantastic.
visitation room.
Great team.
Great team.
Yeah.
And we just couldn't pass up the chance to accelerate this group from New York. So we're looking forward to them being at CodeLaunch 8. The next 3, I think, are all U.S. commercial venture finalists.
The big enchilada. Oh, okay. All right. It's going to Bruce.
Dream Desk from Rohan Gilkis, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Congratulations to Dream Desk. And we look forward to working with you and hopefully getting to visit in Las Vegas when you build a headquarters out there. I'm switching legs.
Just a leg switch, don't worry. The next U.S. commercial venture finalist will be
MotoClerk. Sean hustled on the homework. Like when we were talking about the positives for MotoClerk, one of the big ones was hustle. Also, deep subject matter expertise. So
Dare I
congratulations.
say the homework champion thus far of the 2020 code launch.
Probably. Yeah. Probably.
The hustle factor, the
Yeah.
get after it
The
factor.
hustle champion.
They hit the street,
Yeah. Yeah.
hit the feet on the street to make things happen. Sean Anderson,
Hustle, hustle, hustle.
Moto
Also,
Clerk.
I want to say one more thing about Sean that I love. Sean has like a tech background and basically probably did the most sales work of anybody. So when I see somebody who has a hat like, developer or a hat like accountant, and then they go, no, 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 I'm a founder. I'm just going to do what the company needs. I'll wear the sales hat. I'll wear the marketing hat, whatever I need to do. That is the mark of somebody that's going to be successful. We love it. We're betting on you, Sean. Can't wait to see it.
And the third, and I think the final finalist that's not on the bubble, Authentify Art.
Congratulations, Curtis McConnell.
Speaking of bruises.
Right? I was doing that. Now you understand.
From San Marcos, California, which I understand to be basically San Diego.
That's awesome.
Really great team. Wow team. Wow technology. Interesting space.
Company that has committed pilots
Can't
with
wait.
revenue.
Yep. Can't wait to get our
Yeah.
hands on that one and try to accelerate it at CodeLaunch 8. Now the first alternate. So this group, we're going to try to help if we can find a team that's qualified.
Morty.
Morty
I know he's going to mention it if I don't.
from Longview, Texas.
Yeah, no.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Morty is a great example of how good the companies were this year. I literally cried.
Oh, that.
I literally cried. I am an adult man. I probably hadn't cried in about a year, and I broke down. I'm not talking about like a little like cinematic, like a single stoic tear. Like I was like sobbing. Like Raheel got me tissues. Excellent company, great company, and we're doing everything in our power to get them a dev team. So
Gonna try to help
we're
Morty.
still believing you. And I'll just throw this out. You're going to Afterburner, so you're going to get additional help.
Last year's semifinalist, Ricardo Carmona, just says hi on LinkedIn.
Hi, Ricardo.
From Portugal.
That's awesome. Cheers,
Hey,
brother.
Ricardo, keep it up. All right, so this is going to be a list of startups that we're going to give a 6-foot exhibit table to at the CodeLaunch Startup Expo.
Want me to swap headsets off now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're going to switch and bring in a special guest. We're going to bring in Mario, who is the founder of the Comeback League. And last year, Mario was a semifinalist. Welcome to the CodeLaunch studio, Mario.
Happy to be here. Good afternoon, everybody.
And so I wanted, before I give this list of people who we give tables to out, I wanted to add value, that there's value in being a semifinalist and then not necessarily being a finalist. So
Yeah, to give you a little bit of my own personal testimony, was I bummed that I didn't make the finals? I wouldn't be human if I wasn't. But did I give up? Hell no, because that's what entrepreneurship's about. So for me, it refocused my efforts, and the great experience I had with Code Authority as a part of CodeLaunch got me to continue to work on the product, and even had CodeLaunch happened on its originally scheduled day, I planned my product launch for the first app or the first game on my platform, a platform that turns coins from doing good for others into cash for charities. The first game is Comeback, as you can see here, and I'm looking forward to sharing that as an exhibitor at one of your complimentary tables there at this year's Code Launch.
yep, he'll be a startup that'll be there. So thanks for coming in and sharing that with me. I appreciate it. Stick around for a minute. Let's
Yeah.
just go through. So this is another quote I got from another group that last week they were sending out an announcement that their app is live. And I was like, hey, you were a semifinalist that I didn't give a finalist slot to. Tell me all the things that you've gone through and done. So he wrote me this long, thankful email, and this is a quote directly from Nick Greco, founder of Homester, which is, going through the CodeLaunch experience literally shaped our model and gave us a direction from essentially just having a very fragmented idea. So I thought that was great, and I thought I would share that with you. So for those of you that are on this list, and Mario, we really want you to come to CodeLaunch, and we will have a complimentary 6-foot exhibit table waiting for you, and you'll be able to network. watch the event and see the groups that we did help, and as well make your own meetings and hopefully connect with people that can accelerate you heading into the next year. So with that, I will say thank you, Mario.
Absolutely.
And
All right, hope to see you all there at CodeLaunch. Stop by the table and download my app.
And we'll invite Stram, the guillotine, back in. Just go hang out. He'll be around somewhere. He is somewhere, I'm sure, probably writing a new stand-up material. And so when he gets here, he'll tell you about the Afterburner again, which, to remind everybody, starts the day after CodeLaunch and goes for 1 month. And what he's going to try to do is have each of you that he has in his program, which some of you will be semifinalists, some of them will be finalists that are at the event. He's going to have a custom set of homework challenges and a short time to get there. And he's going to try to figure those out with you. They're going to be from the family of innovative growth hacking tactics, because that's his specialty. And he's a very creative guy. He's connected with lots of different social media platforms, lots of different followers. He's really got good ideas that I think would help any business, even Code Authority, really any business. So this is a great extra chapter we're adding on to the end of CodeLaunch. He may have left, so I may have to close this out by myself. And so that is about the Afterburner. And so I just wanted to take this time to thank Raheel Malik and Josh Stramiello, who helped me and watched every single pitch with me. Oh, he's coming back.
And his name is John Cena.
And so thank you guys. Thanks for all your help on the pitches, and thanks for Raheel. Appreciate you. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Congrats to the finalists.
I'll pause there for a second.
I
want to say thank you to you, Jason, because I called him and I told him this emotionally the other night. But as somebody who has founded a company and failed, right, no billion-dollar exit, and the level of like depression and frustration and isolation, you know, I didn't have an event like this or a team like this or someone like Jason that cared enough about me to put something like this in my place at that point in my life. And every time I hear you guys, the applicants, I hear the company's pitch, I'm always connected to it. Like I always feel that as a founder. And like I am privileged to get to work with somebody like Jason who had the vision to create this and work on this for 8 years. So thank you for letting me be a part of this, and we're going to help a lot of people, and I'm so happy to be here. You
are welcome. And this guy brought a lot to the pitches. He brought a lot of energy, and it was awesome. So I want to mention Phil Elias. He's a guy we added onto the judge panel. He is a North Texas technology startup. He's kind of like past the startup phase, but he's still in the potentially raising Series A phase. Has a great music and like festival platform in a box called Buzznog.
Yeah.
And has broken some amazing ground in the past month related to the fact that the pandemic has shut down all of the festivals around the world, at least over the summer. Maybe there'll be some more soon, but he already has one exit before in a previous business, and this is a second. And so he will be a great judge for us and you early stage tech founders to have your Q&A bounced off of him.
That's awesome.
And then we have a few others that we're still holding out. We have a handful of people that are like pandemic soft in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to do it, but let me see how things are a week before. I'm like, well, I can't really announce you now. No, because I'm not really sure.
I'm very excited about TBD.
TBD, and TBD.
I keep hearing about TBD.
Are going to be super MCs.
Yeah.
MC TBD.
TBD.
That should be a rap name.
MC TBD.
Okay, well, now we're going to open this thing up. Right over here to my left, I have a monitor, and I can see any question or anything at all that's chatted, whether it's rude about me
do we know
or
how long
pleasant.
there's a delay, though, right? Like.
Yeah, I
So
think
put
it's
your
like
questions in now. We're gonna stall until we start to
I
see
think
some
it's like
questions.
30 seconds.
Okay. Plus the time it
So-
takes for them to type.
Yes, but most people are quick at that. I'm going to drink water.
And I'm going to tell you guys some more interesting. Oh, I know what I'm going to do to buy us time. So, our event is the 5th of November, and I was like, there's a poem. There is. And it's about the Gunpowder Plot, which was a failed assassination against King James of Scotland in the 1605. And it happened on November 5th, and this poem was written about it. Remember, remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder treason and plot. I know of no reason why gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. Guy Fawkes, 'twas his intent to blow up the king in Parliament. 60 barrels of powder below, poor old England to overthrow. By God's providence he was catched with a dark lantern and burning match. Holla, boys, holla, boys, holla,
I said you go with holla.
holla, boys, let the bells ring. Holla, boys, God save the king. So remember, the 5th of November is the pertinent thing.
Yes, put it on your calendar right
I
now.
don't see questions yet.
Yeah, that was all for naught.
Yeah,
Maybe there's not a lot of questions at this point.
maybe we've answered everything that could.
Maybe our delivery was so
Impeccable
perfectly
and flawless.
detailed.
Yeah.
I just see chitter chatter.
I think what happened last time was we were like, okay, and there's no way that the questions just started. It was a deluge. But I think we're good. You can.
How's it
How's
going?
it going? Anonymous LinkedIn user. Get out of here.
It's
You
going
go.
so awesome.
You
Can't
go
tell?
on and you get anonymous user.
It's not 105 today. That's good.
It's still pretty hot.
It was 105 today. For those of you that aren't Dallas Fort Worth people, like our international finalist from Seoul, South Korea, or our international finalist from Moscow, Russia,
Lightning struck.
it was 105.
Lightning struck a transformer literally outside of my house, and I had no power last night. It took Encore like 3 hours to get out there and fix it. Will it be a V for Vendetta theme? Would work well for masks. Oh my God, Alyssa. Yeah, Alyssa Bartlett. My eyesight's
Alyssa's
bad.
with improving in Twin Cities.
Yeah, I think I talked to her. That is an amazing idea. I didn't even think about V for Vendetta. They all wear masks anyway. It's like, here's your COVID V for Vendetta mask.
I think I'm going to get one of these deals that's like it's like glasses around your head and just has a shield in front of your face.
Is there feedback going to be given to those semifinalists who did not make the finals? So you're probably getting an invite into Afterburner, which we're going to do more than feedback. We're going to, help you build a stronger company and then come back and then compete for the overall winner of Afterburner. That's Brian Crawford. Excellent question. I'll just be kind of transparent here. We did 22 hours, is that right? Of video interviews, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, and then a ton of deliberation. There's a ton that went into this. It's not like we can go, oh, here's Brian's start. I don't remember what your startup's name is, Brian, but I'm sure that if you gave me the startup name, I would remember it immediately. But we don't know here's the one thing that you didn't get in, because we have to evaluate over so many criteria. It's literally apples to oranges a lot of times, because how do you compare a self-driving car startup to a app for talking through TikTok? How do you compare those two?
Yeah, I mean, generally this is the feedback.
Yeah.
A lot of it has to do with the skill set that's needed for the product.
Yeah.
And if any progress has been made at all, we have to have a match for the stack that's built in.
Yep.
The language, the database, the cloud hosting, whether it's mobile or not, or browser-based, or what it is. And that limits who we can pair people up with.
Yeah.
And then other times, it can be just if we really think it's going to be all that interesting to our particular audience, which is an in-person event, CodeLaunch. It's going to be, although our startups come from all over the world, our people that are at CodeLaunch come from North Texas, and they come from mostly
Yeah.
the far north suburbs of Dallas-Fort Worth. So
Another consideration is the hackathon partners and the companies they get really passionate about when we're on the chopping block.
yeah, and so
that's-
we have a deliberation meeting where we try to summarize the groups to
Yeah.
the hackathon partners, and they pick and choose the ones that sound good to them.
Yeah, and you want that. You
So there's
wanna
some
hack-
randomness at the end that really
Yeah.
no one can control. The startups can't control. We can't control. And unfortunately, we're trying to guess on who we have available in November, which is, 2.5 months away. Normally at this time, we're 3 weeks out.
Yep.
So today's announcement date is strategically set 22 days, I think, ahead of the original date, September 10th, because you get a break on travel cost when you book 21 days or more in advance. So that's why we're doing it today. We went ahead and did this today because we need the groups to go ahead and plan. Some of them are building their product, and so they're going to be at some unknown stage when we get to see them. And let me just tell you this. There's just one more note. Some of you who've been announced as a finalist as a hackathon may or may not have your hackathon exactly in the core hackathon week.
Oh.
So the event date is November 5th. The core hackathon is that week, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Some of you may have a hackathon that happens on a weekend prior to that. So if that's you and you're remote, you won't be required to be here for that. That'll be, you can just run your hackathon and participate with your hackathon remotely. But we thought it was more important to get extra hackathons involved and to constrain everybody to that date.
Yep.
So that's why that's happening.
This is the year of flexibility.
Yeah, I mean, we're having to stretch and be and just not get too hung up on perfection and organization. And
Fair to say the first quarter of this year was about downward dog.
it was about dealing with shock.
It's downward dog. And now we're doing rising sun, rising
Yes.
salute.
If I knew, all I really know is that's a yoga. I don't know
It's an interesting-
much else about it.
It's the pose you'd think it is. All right.
Do I look like a yoga person?
You'd be surprised. I almost have my Yoda certification. Yoda, both.
Yoga certification.
There is no try, do only.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and say goodbye from the CodeLaunch studio.
Jason, I don't remember when the event is. When is the event going to be now?
Oh, well, remember, it's the 5th of November. How could you forget that?
Yes.
We will see you all at CodeLaunch, November 5th. And some of you will see at a hackathon before then. And until then, goodbye
Flawless.
from CodeLaunch
did it.
Studio. I'm going to go click stop. I'm going to moonwalk over to the stop button.